Namaste. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon here in Japan. And this is our third live just for the past 6 hours. We have been doing a series of lives, and I'm so happy that today we are back in Asia. And our special guest is someone who is really very interesting because she was just crowned a few months ago, probably a few weeks ago. And she is a special guest. And there is also a very sentimental reason because exactly 5 years ago, I was actually in her country around this time of the year. And it's really a very memorable trip. So we are going to chit chat and share some sentiments and stories today while we get to know more about this lovely lady. So please welcome our 38th episode guest representing the beautiful Himalayan nation of Nepal. Here is Miss International Nepal 2022, Miss Nancy Khadka. Here she is.
Namaste. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. So Nancy, right here, she is actually. When were you crowned once again? Can you please like remind us because
It was
I have so many dates in my mind right now that I have forgotten. When were you crowned?
I can understand. It was 18th of June, so it's been 1.5 months so
Okay,
now.
so
July.
correct my mistake. Well, like I said a few months ago. Actually, it's just a few weeks ago. It's just like a month ago that you were crowned as
Yeah,
Miss International Nepal. So it seems
absolutely.
like it's been forever, like especially with all the things that have been happening around the world. But here, our guest here, Nancy, she is 24 years old. I made a mistake in our post yesterday. I wrote 14 years old. Who the hell joins Miss International at the age of 14? But she's 24 years old. That's the correct one. And she is a mental health advocate. And she is from the beautiful eastern town of Biratnagar. So Nancy, right now, where do you live right now? Are you in Biratnagar right now, or are you in Kathmandu?
So basically, I was born and raised from Biratnagar, and
Mhm.
then I shifted to Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal itself. And then I have been residing here, and ever since then, I went for my high school education to States and pursued my educational background in mass communication and public speaking there. And then I returned back to my own home country itself for my further education and work experiences, and I'm having a lovely time here.
So that speaks a lot about your sense of confidence in the way you actually communicate yourself. You majored in mass communication. I always have high regard and the respect towards people who major in mass communication. My best friend in high school actually went to university as well, majored in mass communication.
Interesting.
Yeah, so like you studied in the United States, right?
Yes, California.
Which state in California?
Yeah, San Jose, California. So I did go there. So actually, I have a little bit of story towards me pursuing my education in mass
Mhm.
communication and public speaking. I was a very much of like a shy and introvert kid growing up, and I was pretty much insecure about my own self, and more of like experiencing from the bullying or like backlashing or whatnot. So I actually gave hard to come out of my comfort zone and then giving myself a challenge to pursue in something that is going to help me to grow as a person as well as to grow my weaknesses into strength. So I think these all things put together did help me to push myself beyond the limits, and here I am with a degree in communication studies. So
I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to make use of it, and it's going to be very useful, especially in your journey towards the beauty pageant. Like here in Japan as well, we have several former Miss International Japan winners who actually pursued a career in broadcasting, and they are now famous newscasters here in Japan.
lovely.
And now, let me dig into some part of your pageant history because the Miss Nepal beauty pageant is actually not your first pageant, right?
Actually, yes, you're right. So my first pageant was Miss Universe Nepal. So
Mhm.
what happened? Miss Nepal, the organization used to hold like four separate pageants from one, like
Mhm.
together. like at once, same glance itself. So Miss Nepal World, Miss Nepal Universe, Miss Nepal International, Miss Nepal Supranational, and so four pageant to use. Miss Nepal Earth. I'm so sorry, I had to
Mm.
mention that also. So this big five pageant was together held by our organization, the Hidden Treasure itself. So what happened was Miss Nepal. It would be very cliche for me to mention that it has been my childhood dream ever since I knew that pageantry exists. So I was always manifesting to become a beauty queen, not just the stereotypical definition of beauty, but from heart. You know, I wanted to work for it with the consistency since the
Mm.
beginning itself. So these pageants were held together, and I was right after my graduation, I was coming back to my country for vacation. And then my sister suggested, like, you know, since over there I was pretty much occupied with my work, my college studies, and whatnot. And then I told my sister and my family that if I come back to Nepal, I cannot be staying still at all. Like, you know, I am so much into now being and feeling occupied, keeping myself busy, you know. And so I told my sister, and she was like, why don't you groom yourself to enter to Miss Nepal whenever you feel you're ready? And until then, why don't you just participate in Miss Universe Nepal? So this specific pageant just got separated. The franchisee got with another organization. So I just took part over there. I was a runner up over there itself, and it was a big achievement for me because I was not expecting it to happen. It's so sooner. Like in the field of pageantry, that was my first year, and I got to learn a lot of things about myself, which I'm forever grateful for, honestly. And then after a couple of years, the COVID, in between COVID happened, and also Miss Nepal did not take place at all. But I still remember during my first pageant itself, like they asked me, what's the unique factor about you? And knowingly and unknowingly, right now, when I see that, it gives me like nostalgic vibe because I did mention that I am international. And I did not mean to say, I did not know what my fate was written and where I was allowed to go in near future and whatnot. But at that point, I just felt that I have that Miss International vibe as a person, not as a beauty queen, but as a person, because I have worked in the different parts of culture, life. I've seen the real world, traveling and experiencing in different parts of the world, staying there, knowing different people, culture. So, yeah, I was pretty much overwhelmed and grateful that I was actually crowned your all Miss Nepal International 2022.
Well, actually, this is not to compare different pageant systems like Miss Universe, Miss World, or Miss Earth and Miss International. The reason why I actually asked or mentioned about it is because I really wanted to know what triggered you or what really made you join beauty pageants, because there are still so many people out there that are not convinced, about the essence of beauty pageants, and why do women or young women like you have to join beauty pageants, and they are kind of critical about girls and women or young women or ladies joining in competitions such as beauty pageants. What is your main motivational factor or reason for joining beauty pageant?
So for me, like I mentioned, it was my childhood dream. I know it's very cliche to hear like this kind of thing, but when I say it, I did work for it as well,
Mm.
because beauty pageant are not like, you know, we still have this stereotypical mindset of that it is just beauty without brain. And in so many cases in Nepal specifically, if I have to mention, like in 2000 and recently in our past couple of years itself, like, you know, beauty pageant was demeaned a lot because they still feel like it's an exploitation for women. Like you got the right point, like, you know, women are being like sold for their beauty purpose and so on. So for my take for the people who think it's demeaning would be to change their mentality. How is because this platform, the beauty pageant platform itself, gives a young woman like us to realize our roles and responsibilities at a very young age. For example, like all the beauty pageants titles and the pageantry itself gives us an opportunity for us to build a project, to build our own nation. So that's a big thing. And I think the responsibility that we might realize later on our life could realize this platform does makes us to realize it very sooner. And I think the responsibility that you'll be able to represent your country like in a worldwide space is something quite an achievement. I really appreciate, and I really would like to mention to the world, to the people, whoever is watching this, is like this is the platform that can build you as a person. If not anything, then this platform could provide you growth, inner peace, and I think you should just go for it if pageantry is your take, like how I have.
Thank you very much for explaining, Nancy. Like, I really appreciate it because I know, like, in this world that we live in, we have so many opportunities. You can excel in sports, you can excel in academics, you can excel in performing arts and experience to represent your country through those platforms. But beauty pageant is also one platform wherein you, like ladies, get to build your self esteem, you know yourself very well, and then you share your culture to others. So to just wrap it up and simplify it as a competition for beautiful women, I think it's not fair, and I think a lot of critical people out there about beauty pageants really have not um, dug dug in deeper into the whole essence of beauty pageants before they make such judgment.
I understand. Also, main motto for me, I've been a fashion model as well. I am a fashion model, but I definitely would like to reach out to the people, being known as a role model. Honestly, that has always been my big aim, and I think nothing but this pageantry does give me a beautiful platform for me to show my personality, for me to reach out to the wider range of the audiences. So this is something different for me, and I wish I could explain it to many more people out there to inspire them about the in the field of pageantry.
Well, one thing that I am really very impressed with the Hidden Treasures organization is their emphasis towards charity works, and of course, it works very well with the Miss World Beauty with a Purpose thing. But this year, Miss International has this platform, or our main core for the year 2022, which is Beauties for SDGs. And you did mention to me during our chit chat on WhatsApp that you have already prepared for this one, like maybe even before we announce about SDGs and beauty for SDGs. I'm pretty sure that you are already involved with something worthwhile, like a charity work or an SDGs related sustainable development goals related activity. Can you please just give us like a little bit of hint? You don't need to divulge everything because I know that there might be a little bit of surprise as well when you submit the video, but just give us an idea what is it.
Absolutely. So, Sustainable Development Goals project. You have no idea. Honestly and genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful for Miss International Pageant for holding this auspicious SDGs project theme for this year, because I am working for some project which is really close to my heart, and the project is about mental health education. So I'm focusing more on prioritizing your mental health education, is prioritizing your mental health. Being myself as a victim and a person who has survived this mental difficulties, I would say, in the past my life. So I think overcoming these hurdles and seeing that how important it is to survive and make other people heal from the words you give, even the small little things matters. So my project is about mental health education. So I've been working with an organization called PA Nepal. Just sharing a little bit of abstract with you. Like you said, I'll keep it a mysterious suspense for audiences to reach out later on. So I've been working with PA Nepal organization, which has like in 16 provinces over here in Nepal itself. So this what does this organization work here is the children's parents are kept in prison. Like it's the children of the incarcerated parents have been raised in a beautiful environment with proper knowledge, education, facilitation, and good environment for them to build themselves as a person. And so what my role over here specifically is that I'm focusing on the counseling part, how, like, there are two types over here. So their parents are incarcerated in jail, in the prison, and the children are here. So both the mental health stability works in different ways.
Mm.
For woman, whoever is giving birth in the prison itself, I go there, I visit there, I do counseling over there, how their life is taking place, and
Mm.
like everything. Like I, as a mentor, I do volunteer over there, and I over there I'm also looking for specific work that provides that could give them a source of income where I could raise and support women empowerment. They could be actually reliable towards that source, that no matter what, I am incoming, I am being able to have that source of income by myself over here inside the prison itself. On the other hand, we have children who has been in a proper organization. Yes, they need to know how to face the world eventually. So I've been pretty much in touch and connected with the two separate, sources, but combined, it's the beautiful mind is growing both sides. So yeah, just a little bit of whatever I think I'm mentioning makes sense to you.
Well, yeah, it does. Well, actually, when I was there in Nepal and I see how young the population is, it's like very dynamic and very progressive. Well, this is I'm talking about 2017 Nepal when I was there before the pandemic, and back then I
I'm
remember.
sorry to interrupt you in between here, but I had to say this. Like, my director, promoter, he did mention me to you so many times. He was like, he was here. And then Stephen, he was here. He visited Nepal. And then, like, yesterday itself, I told my directors that I was in touch and communicating with you. And then they were so excited. He was here, he remembers. Like, I
I
think we
remember,
had.
yes, of course, and I even said that going to Nepal once is never enough, so I really have to go back there somehow
Yeah,
at some point.
yeah.
Yeah, I have observed a lot of things in Nepal. Like I said, it's a very youthful, a very young country. Like I'm saying this because there's so many young people out there, and one of the pressing problems that I noticed is also aside from the environmental problem, and probably because of the impact of the COVID pandemic. Yeah, I think the mental health as well has aspect has been very much affected, and we have never heard about too much about mental health compared to the past couple of years. I think it has become a really serious issue, and before it was just like, okay, it's just mental health, but now it has become a really very serious problem, and a lot of young people have fallen prey to that one. Like, what do you think is the main reason why a lot of young people, even adults, like older ones like our generation, are trapped into this unhealthy, like mentally unhealthy lifestyle?
So what I could just summarize and say to you, it's a different level of experiences because mental health itself is a very vague topic, and it
Mm.
has got a lot of branches. Like, you don't know what's the main symptom or what's the main cause, but what you could know is that everybody in this world needs
Mm.
someone to listen to, needs someone to go to, need someone for the sake of support, moral support, especially emotional support, and in every level of support, and also the trust. So, about mental health, when I have to say and talk about my own experiences, so I have to mention this, like, I am a person who learns, who grows out of her own experiences. Like, even if I have to mention who inspired me to be in this field of pageantry, I would take my name itself, because if it was not me and my thoughts, my perspective towards pageantry, I don't think nobody would be able to push me to believe in here and then
Mm.
get. So, coming back to the point and talking about mental health situation, I think lack of support. So there, again, I have been working on it. I have myself been a victim with my experiences and what I could learn, since I'm also psychology minor in my university. So what I could figure it out is there are two types. One is like people are not much aware about how important mental health is. So that's why prioritizing mental health education. So for me, I also wanted to keep mental health education as a prior subject in every school level. So like we have health subject, we have population subject, we have so many subjects for us to gain knowledge. Similarly, mental health education, people need to be aware what is it, how is it happening, and what's the cause, what's the reason, what it needs to be done. Secondly is after being diagnosed with specific mental health
Mhm.
illnesses, for example, um, OCD or depression or like so many anxiety, anxiousness, feeling of anxiousness. So these are things people need to understand that we need a proper medication treatment as well. So for
Mhm.
example, still a taboo here in our country as well because people think like just being diagnosed with anxiety disorder and you visiting a psychiatrist is called psycho, like people name
Oh,
you psychopath, like so small little words does hurt, so people need to be really cautious with the words they use even with a normal conversation because you never know what the other person is going through, right? So we
mhm.
can never know until and unless we know we have the deep understanding of that specific person. So for me, just treating people right and your small little gestures and words could even heal anything. Like you can even go from your anger issues to having a happy, bubbly day. So just for simplicity, just love of words, kindness, like support. These are the things I think our young generation should definitely adopt, not for specifically just mental health, but at least as a humanitarian. So, like, just being a human, yourself, authentic self. So, just treating other people right and yourself right as well is very important. So, I think,
Thank you
yeah.
very much for educating me on that aspect as well. Because right, even me myself, there are still a lot of things that I have to learn regarding the mental health issue because it's like you said, it's a very vague and very broad topic as well, and a lot of things need to be shared. And that is actually one of the reasons why we need people like advocates like you to keep on educating people like us to know more about the importance of guarding our mental health and also helping others who are suffering from mental health issues. Now let's get a little bit lighter, because since we don't have that much time, I just wanted to touch this part or this topic because one of the aspects of one of the things that we do here in Miss International is actually introduce the some of the minor places that we've never heard before, but we wanted you to share about your childhood, how you grew up in your beautiful small town of Biratnagar in eastern Nepal. Like, can you please share to us how was it growing up in your small town?
So Biratnagar is the city that I was born and raised, and I'm so proud that I was born there. And the city that celebrates high spirited festivals, like in a very grand way. Every single festival will be celebrated over there in a very grand and memorable way. So my childhood, just to give you a little bit of glimpse, it would be a very much of like full of love, full of like pamperness, full of like it was very much fun growing up, I would say. I wish I could go back now. But I love, yeah. So ever since I was my childhood was pretty much amazing, I would say, beautiful. With my sister, I have younger sister, and she is my coral strength and my everything. She has been so supportive ever since. School days was always so much fun. My family has always raised us right, and a little bit of strictness was there while growing up in my family because my parents, they did lost their first daughter on a spot death, so they were very much cautious and protective about their two daughters. So pretty much very disciplined while growing up, means like timetable, punctuality, discipline, everything on point right there. And school days was kind of fun. I appreciate and I acknowledge all of my experiences since the time I realized that I am growing up slowly and steadily. So just my childhood was beautiful.
Thank you
Beautiful.
very much, Nancy. I know we still have so many things that we could actually talk about, but we will continue that one once you are here in Japan for the 60th Miss International Beauty Pageant, which will be held in December 2022. Our final night will be on December 13th. So, to all of the Nepalese who are here in Japan, I know there are so many, hundreds and thousands of you out here in Japan working. Please do support Nancy as she comes here and represent your beautiful nation in the Miss International 2022 pageant. And also, please keep on following her on her Instagram account. Keep on following us as well in our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube channel. A lot of things could have been shared, but we don't have that much time. So I really, really appreciate and thank you, Nancy, for your time today. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much to the Hidden Treasures as well for helping us with this opportunity. And once again, this is Stephen Diaz from the Miss International Organization or the International Cultural Association, and it's been a very busy day today with 3 MI Live, and I'm so happy that we are wrapping it up today with Miss International Nepal, Nancy Khadka. Thank you so much, guys, and hope to see you again in our next episode or next edition of Miss International Live.
Arigatou gozaimasu.